whoever he is, he's brilliant for a flesh creature.
Especially since he has done more in 2 days than you have in 2 years.
Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books, I love talking about them, I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel database that has a plot synopsis and character bio. So we're going to be looking at Transformers #1. I'm not going to be covering this entire series. I bowed out about issue 30. And so did a lot of people because Marvel ended up canceling this thing. But issue 30 was about the last issue I had. Great cover by Bill Sienkiewicz. This is just there's his signature right here. I don't know why, but this is so cool. Incredible cover. The inside. So, when Marvel did this, I'm just letting you know, this looks like Gears. I don't know if Gears was available at that time yet, but God, this is just a cool cover here. But all right, this whole comic book, the whole purpose of this is Hasbro went in and said, we want to sell toys and we want to put a story behind it. And Marvel got the license. They were fun. They were also important, the Marvel of the 80s, in the cartoon and the naming of the characters. You all know the history of Transformers. YouTube it. I'm not going to explain the origin of all these toys and all that. I'm not going to be reading panel by panel like I do with a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of words and a lot of stuff that it's just my main gist is just to get the story out there. So all right. Also, in the beginning, you saw that it was 1 in a 4-issue limited series. It, however, ended up becoming an ongoing. So we are in the Alpha Centauri here, and we have this planet here, only it's not made out of rock or, anything else. It is entirely mechanical, and life evolved here and adapted to being mechanical. We go with it, people. It's comic books and cartoons. So we have all sorts of living robots, and you can see here it's just pretty cool. So this is, of course, the planet Cybertron. When I first saw this, I was like, oh, that must be Optimus Prime, because it is colored just like Optimus Prime, and this guy's colored like Bumblebee. And this is colored like, oh my God, Sideswipe, I think it is. So, all right. Real quick, let me just go back here. Wanted to point out that the planet is about the size of Saturn. And so Cybertron is, of course, a big planet. I don't know why I needed to kind of tell you that, but so the planet was peaceful, prosperous, and then came Megatron and the Decepticons. I just want to point out that, so this is Soundwave here and Megatron, and again Soundwave, but here's Ravage, and by the way, Ravage speaks. At least he does early on. You can see here he's the one saying, look at them below, contented, fools, ripe for conquest. And of course Megatron says, indeed, Ravage. So Ravage does speak. You can see that Megatron has been playing the long con. They've been living peacefully with the Autobots, gathering strength, pursuing technology, and now they're going to strike at those that have brought stagnation of peace. So basically, Megatron believes that this peaceful existence is, um, has brought stagnation. They want to evolve into something else. So in here it says throughout the next weeks they bring in supporters, I guess, into their cause, more people, and they use the technology to get the ability to transform into weapons of unprecedented power. Eventually, Megatron says, "Strike, strike with all the might at our command. Death to the Autobots and the decay they stand for." So again, peace means decay. He wants to evolve because he feels war gets you there. This created a global war, and it says here, unleashing staggering, inconceivable forces. Each attack upon an Autobot stronghold is orchestrated with the precision of which only finely tuned machinery is capable of. As the conflict happened, the Cybertron itself was taken out of orbit. Now, we all know it doesn't work that way. However, again, we're not going to overthink it. Robots, this, nothing in this. So we're going to play fast and loose with everything. So billions of Autobots were destroyed. However, those survivors were able to fight back, learn the ability to transform. Eventually, all of them became known as the Transformers. And of course, here we have our credits. Bill Mantlo plots, Ralph Macchio with the script. Bill Mantlo is alive, however, unfortunately, there was a car accident, hit and run, and he has. If you can help out, please help him. I believe his family still has a GoFundMe. It's pretty sad. This is toward the later part of the Jim Shooter era, and I think Bob Budiansky ends up becoming the writer. So, all right. I do love that his cannon, it's a fusion cannon. That is actually pretty cool. I don't think I've ever heard it called that, the fusion cannon. People just say his cannon, but man, I love that show. And I love this comic book. Man, I tethered. I destroyed, because I read this thing front, back, in every which way. Wish I would have kept it in good condition. I did not. It is destroyed to hell. Covers fallen off. But I love. That's why I'm glad they did the reprints. I enjoy reading comic books. I don't believe that they're meant to be put in a slab. If that is how you want to sell them, that's fine. If comic books are nothing more than a business to you, that's a shame. These precious things should be read and enjoyed how they came out, not put in a slab. I am anti-slab. You will never see me buy a slab. Anyway, here you can see Megatron's purpose here. Soon we Decepticons will have ground our enemies under our heel, and we shall begin our prime task, rebuilding Cybertron into a cosmic dreadnought. We shall turn our very planet into the single most deadly weapon in existence. Then let the universe beware. And here, even before the cartoon, Iacon, the greatest of the city-states, there came a leader to inspire the Autobots, Optimus Prime. And of course, this is what Optimus Prime kind of transformed to in Cybertron. This was his Cybertronian form. And so the war continued to rage for thousands and thousands of years as Cybertron continued to move through space. However, it became threatened when it went through an asteroid belt. And here we see all these asteroids all compacted in here. Love the beard. I don't know how they get a beard, but hey, bravo. Now, you can see that they drew. They didn't take the liberties. I don't think the cartoon was quite had been released, perhaps, because you can tell when the cartoon was released that they changed the way that they draw them. In this issue, it looks like they took what they saw and just made them. And you'll see later on when you see Ironhide how he's done. So anyway, so they tell this that they're all gonna die if those asteroids hit them, and Optimus Prime volunteers to make take a group to essentially make way so that they can Cybertron go safely through the asteroids. And of course, Ravage was hearing that, telling him Megatron will be pleased to hear of this. So then the Autobots constructed the craft and they called it the Ark. Very biblical name. So Ravage tells Megatron, by the way, this is a great it's called Castle Decepticon, whatever, but that is so cool. Anyway, Ravage tells Megatron, and Megatron is going to construct their own spacecraft, pursue Optimus, and strike when they're at their weakest after they have completed their tasks. And so here come the Decepticons. So of course, there goes the Autobots destroying the asteroids. And you can see here that there's Earth right there. And of course, I love the screen tones that are being used. Man, every time you see screen tones, I'm always going to call it out. So here, of course, it says, fellow Autobots, Optimus Prime. Fellow Autobots, we have succeeded through your efforts. Soon, our world will pass safely through this dangerous segment of space and travel near the lifeless third planet of this solar system before going beyond. So, they're going to celebrate for a little bit. And here you see that Optimus is going to try to make peace with the Decepticons, but as soon as he says that, the Decepticons, of course, strike. And so you can see that the attack is violent. So the Autobots regroup and fight back. But their efforts, and look at this is another Optimus Prime, essentially. Just the different coloring, but this is another Optimus Prime that was drawn in here. And of course, Prime says, we're too weak after the exertion of destroying the asteroids. Our power is no match. So the hull is breached, and here come Megatron and Ravage, and these are the cassettes. So Rumble and Frenzy, Laserbeak, one of the jets, I can't tell by the coloring, it's probably Starscream, but so kind of the main ones that were in the first season. So, and a lot of the Autobots that were in there were cut down where they stood. So, and then I believe this is Prowler, or not Prowler, Prowl, and it is. So Prowl says, hey, we're gonna be defeated within 5.7 minutes, and Optimus hits a button. They're gonna basically do a suicide run. He says that the Ark and its secrets must never fall to an enemy hands. So he plotted an alternate course that would take us on a suicidal heading directly into the third planet of the solar system. Farewell, my friend. Though we die, at least our enemies are taken with us. So, but of course, they hit the mountain. But you can see time passes, and then eventually the sleeping volcano awakens. I love how it's drawn like this. Just so cool. So, and the Ark is hidden inside the volcano for time. And you can see everyone, it all appears dead and lifeless. So the volcano awoke something in there, and it goes out and sends a like a probe. And so this probe is now looking at the planet, and you can see here it's getting specs from the airplane, the jets, and going through the cars. And you can see here the radio, the television, um, and so it's gonna take that back. And yes, kids, if you're watching this, this is people didn't have a phone in the 80s to listen to. They actually had to take. Now they had Walkmans, but some people actually went out with a radio. That's, I mean, it's just crazy. And so anyway, the little thing comes back. You can see all the fallen. And so you can see it here, commencing revival procedures. Now, how a machine stayed powered for millions of years when my phone can't even go a day without charge is beyond me. So, all right, you can see here that it's grabbing some of them. You can see here we got the jet. We got all the Prowl, the cassettes, Optimus, and so it's fixing everybody. You can see here Megatron and Soundwave, and so, and you can see here that Optimus, they're drawing him awkwardly because he's groggy, so, and so Megatron wants a head count, and we got Skywarp and Thundercracker and Starscream. We got Rumble and Frenzy. We got Ravage. We got Laserbeak and Buzzsaw. Now, you had to Buzzsaw, who was hardly used in the cartoon. It was always Laserbeak, 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 Laserbeak. Buzzsaw was when you bought Soundwave. Buzzsaw was the one that came in. Ravage and Laserbeak were sold together in a separate pack, and then Rumble and Frenzy were then sold together in another pack. So, you got one, and then so here you can see that they're all talking. So Buzzsaw talks, Laserbeak talks, Ravage talks. In the cartoons, only Rumble and Frenzy talked. So, and it kind of gives you even a little bit, what they do and all that, all their powers, So, Starscream says, why not kill them now when they're at their weakest? You can see them just kind of going right through them. And Megatron says, sound logic, but they're still weaker selves and they need fuel, essentially. So, but they will, at a time and place of his choosing. You can see here showing the transformation stuff. Now, where the hell Soundwave is going is beyond me, but hey, let's get a radio out there, and and so Laserbeak and Laserbeak over here, Buzzsaw over here. They go flying. They don't go inside Soundwave. So, and Prowl says, "Did you see their shapes, Optimus?" Optimus deduces that it is warlike forms to this world. So, and so this is now we are gonna go with the Autobots. Now, this is Ironhide. Ironhide is not what you're used to if you're used to the cartoon. This is what the Ironhide toy looked like. I always went, well, it doesn't look like, I was 10 years old when this came out. I became a fan forever. I was at the perfect age. So anyway, we have Ironhide and oh my goodness, Huffer, I think is name is. It's not telling you here, but I think. Oh yeah, Huffer. Bumblebee says it. Here's Bumblebee, Sunstreaker, Cliff Jumper, who was voiced by Casey Kasem. And by the way, Optimus Prime and Ironhide were the same voice, the same guy. Brawn and Sideswipe. So sorry, Sunstreaker was this guy here. I don't know if I said it correctly. So, these were small, and then Brawn was small, and Cliff Jumper was small, but then Sideswipe and Sunstreaker and Optimus Prime and Ironhide were full sized when you bought them. Also, these two are supposed to be twins because they're both Lamborghinis. So they were considered brothers because they were both the same car or different versions. But and so we have Mirage and Blue Streak, Prowl, Jazz, Gears, Hound, Windcharger. Look at this. I remember. I'm not even Ratchet, who is just like. I mean, it's the same as Ironhide. So if you look, it's the same thing. And then Wheeljack and Trailbreaker. And all these names were named by Marvel, and then Hasbro just ended up using them. But it was the Marvel people that ended up with the names. Again, here's Ironhide. It's just so funny. Now, a lot of these characters, unfortunately, will not be used in the comic book, and some of them, this is sort of like their own only appearance. Part of it is because, unlike the show, which was daily, and could, introduce a lot of characters and do that. This was a monthly issue. You can only do so much when you only get 1 month, 22 pages too. So a lot of these characters, with all the introduction of other characters, a lot of these just go by the wayside. So, which we will see here. So, anyway, Optimus talks to the troops here and tells them that they've been Cybertron may not even exist anymore. And he swears he'll get them there one day. But right now, their immediate concern will be to repair the Ark and learn everything they can about this planet and save it from the Decepticons here. So, of course, here they all stand watching their monitors. Hey, flat screens. So... And look at these word bubbles, just bam, just, oh my goodness gracious. So, I'm telling you, they draw them just like they appear in the toy. So, all right. So, we are going to get our recurring human characters here. Sparkplug, Witwicky, who is the dad, and Buster. Now, in the cartoon, he was Spike. So here's what happened during in the beginning. There were 3 names being considered: Buster, Spike, and Butch, and they had settled on Spike. But then Hasbro came back and said, Spike is a little too aggressive, so they went with Buster. So then when they did the comic book, they went with Buster. However, the show decided to then, we'll go with Spike. And so just know that Spike and Buster are the same person, or supposed to be the same person. So Sparkplug is a mechanic here. You can see him working on the car here. Sparkplug tells Spike that he knows that he's trying to do well in school and all that, but he needs him here. Buster doesn't seem to really have the aptitudes for wanting to be a mechanic, but he's trying to get a scholarship so that he can go to college. You can see here that Sparkplug, I love the silhouettes here. Sparkle's like, man, you always got your nose buried on those books, you know. Try to do something useful. So so they complete the work and he's gonna go to the movies with his friends and Sparkplug says just be back by 10. And so we got a thought balloon saying he's trying to do what's best for him. The world's full of folks that'll eat you up. And so you learn by living, not reading. So a streetwise is, I guess, what we would call a spark plug here. And so we got a hitchhiker here who suddenly, boom, here come the Autobots. Of course, he sees that the cars, but nobody's driving them. So they're gonna go and do some reconnaissance and kind of get the lay of the land and see where everyone is. So, all right. So they see this driving theater, which, by the way, is where Buster was going to. And here you can see Bumblebee. We found the Earthlings. I can't believe he had to go. Like you couldn't find him, you know, anywhere else. But and you know they're like, what? It's just like, you know, do they live in the cars? You know, they're just kind of wondering here. Of course, we can see Laserbeak here, spying on them and or seeing them. Megatron doesn't want the Autobots to form an alliance with the inhabitants of Earth. Earth possesses abundant fuel resources that they can exploit, and they need to deny those resources. Go destroy the Autobots, he tells his people. And so this lady's here collecting, but there are no people. She's trying to get the admission tickets. And so Buster's with the girl kissing here, and you can see that he's hit by Bumblebee, and Buster's like, oh, bumped from behind by a fender bender. Dad's gonna cream me. And he's about to have it out with the driver, but sees that there's nobody in there. But before anything can happen, here come the Decepticons and start shooting at everybody. And so the Autobots decide, you know, we're going to have to fight without Optimus. We have no choice. So, of course, they transform and everybody sees them in there. And here come the Decepticons and Hound. I think that's, I don't know. I cannot see anyway. Or I can't tell. I shouldn't say. Just, so off they go fighting. And you see the people trying to get away. And I love this drawing of Cliff Jumper here. So, and you can see that Starscream's hit pretty bad here. And here comes Hound and Ravage. And Ravage ends up running away. Here's Soundwave. By the way, in the cartoon, Soundwave and Megatron were the same person, Frank Welker. So, and Starscream just had the best voice. Chris Latta, rest in peace. Same voice, by the way, as Cobra Commander. So, rest in peace, Chris Latta. Anyway, so they're fighting them to make sure they let the people be able to escape. And so, they transform and they're like, all right, let's go. They're going to lure the Decepticons away from those people. But Bumblebee was damaged. And so Buster gets in here. I will keep wanting to call him Spike. If I call him Spike, I do apologize. And so he's going to drive it himself. And Buster's just like, holy cow, what the heck is all this? And so he's taking him to the garage. And Sparkplug hears all that. So he's going to go and investigate. And he's like, what the devil? Instead of saying, what the hell? He says, Dad, this car is alive. And that the oil is blood. You know, the dad's, first of all, real happy. He's like, oh my God, you're wanting to be a mechanic and stuff like that. But Buster's just trying to explain to him that, you know, The car's alive. He's trying to save him. And so, to be continued in number 2. Hey, buddy, can you spare some fuel? So, Transformers number 1 from Marvel Comics back in the day. If you have this issue on mint condition, you are blessed. Like I said, I'm only going to cover this up until the late 20s, maybe issue 30. And then once I get to that, we're bowing out because it stopped interesting me then. And I looked at them and I'm like, still not interested. So I'm going to go with what I have. So, all right, like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.